Everyone, RedExo here, and today's gonna be a little different. I know I haven't been uploading for a while just because honestly I've been busy with doing homework, get my master's degree out here, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying. But there's actually something I wanted to talk about today. It's a movie that I watched, okay? The movie that I watched recently, recently as in yesterday. Today's Friday, yesterday Thursday. So it's a film called 2067. It was an Australian film directed by Seth Larney. Your main characters, right? It's Ethan White, played by Cody Smith McPhee. Sorry if I'm butchering these names, by the way. You have Judge Mathers, played by Ryan Quanten. And then the other two notable mentions, you do have his wife, Xanthi, played by Sanaa. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. But she's more like, the protagonist needs a driving factor. The protagonist needs something to push them to go to the adventure. But she's not really she's only the I should say the push. She's the push for the main character. Then you have Regina Jackson, who is the head corporate lady. She's played by Deborah Mailman. And then you have Richard White, the dad of Ethan White, played by Aaron Glenane. All right, so those characters are going to be the ones that I'm going to refer to. Just wanted to make sure everybody's on the same page with me. So essentially, the plot of the movie, right, without telling the whole movie, without spoiling the whole movie, because I do want you to see it, is that there is a message from the future to send Ethan White, right? That's the message from the future. And this time period, the world is in decay. It's your basic future dystopian story where the world's going to end, or there's a limited supply of something, or there's a world-ending catastrophe. In this instance, the world is running out of oxygen, so the world is no longer able to sustain human life because the oxygen levels in the air are decreasing. Everybody has to wear gas masks. Everybody is, on edge. People are already calling the end times, all that, so on and so forth. Our protagonists are, there's two protagonists, I would say. Well, no, there's one protagonist, sorry. Ethan White is working in a mine for a company who is supplying oxygen, basically, to the city. So it's they have oxygen machines where they regenerate their oxygen in sorry, can't speak. But this company basically just does exactly what I just said. It makes the oxygen, and you have to obviously pay for the oxygen, refill your tank, so on and so forth. When he's working in the mine, they call him up to be like, hey, we need you for something. And that's when the whole movie begins. That they got a message from the future, and the future said, send Ethan White. Now, that's basically that's like the small synopsis, because I do want people to watch this movie. It's enjoyable. I will have to say it's enjoyable. It's relatively believable. You can go in this not knowing anything and all that, but I would say if you are going to watch it, you need to watch it in the lens that this is not a big budget movie. Okay, there's gonna be 4-5 locations they go to, and then there's one location that you see consistently. We understand that, all right, we get it. Big budget movies have so many locations, so much CGI and all that, but I would just say just watch it in that lens, okay? And honestly, the CGI is actually pretty good. I think it's pretty good. It's a good, but again, this is me saying what I like. I like science fiction. All right, I like anything science fiction, even if it's just like schlock. I do enjoy that. It's pretty good to watch, honestly, especially when it's more schlocky than super serious. But that's the whole concept of it, you know. And then Ethan White goes on an adventure and all that. Okay, what I wanted to talk about is the whole sending Ethan White to the future. All right. So at this point right now, I'm going to spoil it. If you don't want this movie to be spoiled, I suggest after my review, you just, you know, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, go watch it, and then come back and then see what I was getting at with the concept of this movie. So I'm going to actually transition over to Paint. So Paint's gonna help me illustrate this because there's a few things that is kind of questionable for me, right? So at this point right now it's spoiler territory. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of these things. Ethan gets a message to go to the future by a time machine that his dad built. So Richard built a time machine, right? He built a time machine. We're gonna draw it right here. So this is the time machine. I want to point out that this is not to scale, clearly, but you know, this is my artistic interpretation of the time machine. All right. Essentially, this time machine only has legs to go one way. Basically, it's a one-way trip, right? It's a one-way trip. These are the legs I'm just doing right now. So it's a one-way trip to the future. All right. Above it is a set of numbers or dates, actually, of how long they have until they're able to connect to the future again. However, when they sent something in the first time, when Richard sent something in the first time, he wanted to see if there was a cure to the world. If there's a cure to bring oxygen back to their current time, back in 2067. They sent something 400 years into the future at 2467, and they found out that there is oxygen there and all that. However, there's something wrong with the power. In that time frame, they don't understand what's going on. They say that it's unstable, that they can't really send anybody there during Richard's time. Okay, during Richard's time when he was working there. So then when he sent something back, something came out. It was like, and the words on the hours, the days, hours, and time sheet, like up here, up, I know, right there where I'm looking, it said send Ethan White, right? Send Ethan White. All right, it obviously it spelled it better than I did, but the company manager, Regina, or I guess she's the CEO. It doesn't, I mean, she's just in power, I guess. Like it doesn't really say that she's the CEO, but we assumed so because she's the one that's running everything, so we assume she's the CEO. She tells Richard under the guise to, you know, get a cure, find a cure, or whatever. However, in actuality, she just wants it to build a bridge to the future so that we can abandon the past, right? And then, or the present, I would say, and then head to the future where humanity gets a fresh start, where now in the future, you know, it's all lush greens, there's oxygen, breathable air, and all that. I'm leaving that in. But Richard says, no, we can't do that. That's, you know, that's immoral. You know, we should find a cure for now to help those in the future. and she doesn't want that. Okay, so it's a case of the Batman theorem. Basically, he gets his parents killed, and then he's raised by someone who's relatively not close to him, but someone who found him, unfortunately. The whole plot of him being found and raised up, that's for the movie to explain. That's not really necessary for what I want to try to explain. But I wanted to make sure that you know that in 2067, Richard gets a message saying send Ethan White. Okay, so now that we know this is 2067, right? 267. All right, so when Ethan gets the message, they set him up. Xanthi takes some time to convince him, because he sulks for like a good half an hour of the movie, which is kind of annoying, but I get it. He doesn't want to leave his wife. His wife has an illness. All right. Then he jumps. Now he jumps to the future. All right. To 2467. When he jumps to the future, here's where the movie kind of, puts like an interesting twist to it. Instead of changing things in the past to help the future, you change things in the future to help the past. The present, I should say. Okay, so I'm gonna put this is present, right? Present. Sorry, I'm not good writing in paint. And then future. I'm gonna just write F. All right. I should have just done that from there, but whatever. So the future. So in the future, this machine. I'm gonna put a parentheses on this machine, right? In the future, this machine right now is not working. Okay, it's not working. There's a power failure to the machine, and Ethan has to go and figure it out. Now, they sent Ethan first. Ethan discovers a little thing. He discovers. However, in the future, Ethan discovers that he is dead. Okay? That Ethan is gone. So, this is interesting, because then you want to find out why he died, what's going on, right? And this is where the movie keeps me intrigued. I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. We are in the future, he's dead, so that means he's been here before, but not really, or he has and then he failed and all that. And that's what Ethan thinks. It's interesting to note that he got shot in the head. That's very interesting to note. But he, keeps going with the mission. He has to keep going with the mission. All right. So he's in 2467. He's trying to find out, and then he finds out that the reactor core, right? The core of the reactor. I'm gonna illustrate the core of the reactor as I'm gonna do gray. This is the core of the reactor. The core of the reactor is malfunctioning, and if he doesn't fix it, it's actually going to blow up, and there's no way. It looks more like a sun, but there's no way that they can come back to the past, because if the core reactor blows, there's no way to link these two together. Right now, these two are not linked together. Okay? They're not linked together. So, throughout this whole story, they find out that the city that they were in is destroyed. It's gone. Obviously, it got overtaken by the green. The earth basically reclaimed its own land, and they're both devastated. I mean, Ethan is devastated. Okay. And then we introduce another variable, okay? Since Ethan got sent, right? Ethan got sent to the future. Ethan found out that he's dead. Now we send Judge, his best friend, or basically his guardian. It's the guy that raised him, right? So they send Judge. They send Judge to the future to help Ethan, okay? So Judge is going to help Ethan. Now, almost immediately, you start putting the pieces together, because in a few scenes later, you see that Judge has a gun, and then you notice that, wait, Ethan is the one who got shot in the head. So is it Judge that sent him? Because there's nobody else here. So it's the one that must be the one to kill Ethan. And then we are still in this, investigation phase, trying to figure out what's going on and all that. Ethan finds a recording, and basically just is trying to understand it. He honestly, you as an audience will figure it out faster than he would, just because you have to understand that he's in a state of panic. He's in a state of like, I need to go home, and all that. But you'll soon find out that it was all just something. He was being used to create a bridge to connect the present to the future. Okay, so we're skipping ahead now. We're gonna just keep skipping ahead, because I think it's very important to talk about kind of like, no, I need to make a new we're gonna have a new board, right? We're gonna have a new board. All right, sorry. So at this point, we now see that Judge and Ethan at odds with each other, right? Because Judge is like, they're dead already, why don't we just stay and all that. And then Ethan, being the hero, he's the one. So Ethan actually, is the one to send the message. So here in 2467, Ethan sends the message to his dad back at 2067, right? So send Ethan, what? He's the one that sent the message, okay? So in this timeline, in this reality, Ethan did not die. In the old reality, Ethan was dead. So in the, I'm gonna say old, whatever, is dead. That's the old one. That's an E, all right? That's the old one. The thing that gets me is that because Judge didn't kill him, because Judge was supposed to go back in time, Judge was supposed to go back to the present, right? Judge was supposed to go back to the present with Ethan and kill him there, so that when Ethan goes to the future, Ethan will see himself dead. That's basic. That was the loop. That was the cycle. They were supposed to come back together. Regina, the corporate CEO, would tell Judge to kill him, and then his body would rot for over 400 plus years, and then we would see the start of the movie all over again. However, in this cycle, Ethan is alive. Ethan is alive, and he sends the message back to 2067, right? He sends the message, and then his dad receives it, and it's the restart of the movie. Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. Ethan, at the beginning of the story, is sent to the future right? Just like how I did in the original drawing. Ethan was sent to the future to 2467. Meaning, in that cycle, Ethan sends a message to himself to send him to the future. However, here's my issue here, because the cycle is supposed to restart. The cycle is supposed to restart. However, at the end of the movie, you see now the ruined city now transforms into green, lush buildings. All right, these are my interpretation of green. It's like a utopia. All right, the city becomes a utopia. The city is now flourishing. It becomes a utopia. People are living well and all that. But my thing in the timeline, right? My thing in the timeline is, here is the through line of the original movie. Okay, it goes originally from 2067 to 20. Actually, let me just do a new one, just so I can have a better understanding. I'm sorry, it's all black again me now. So just so you can be on the same page with me, because there's something that I didn't like how the movie ended. The original story was 2067, right? And then your future is 2467. You send Ethan, okay? I'll represent Ethan with a different color. You send Ethan this way, right? With no way to come back, because he didn't know at that time in the beginning of the movie that he had to fix the reactor core. However, he already did it. So you send him there, and then he comes back, right? You send him there, and then you send also with him. No. You see, that's the thing. There was no trace of Judge, of his basically guardian. So he goes there and he's doing everything he has to do, and then he comes back to the past, right? And then it's mission complete. All right, he completed his mission. However, in the past, Judge is waiting for him. Judge waits for him and then kills Ethan in the past, right? He kills Ethan in the past. So I'm gonna go to the second Ethan with Ethan 2. Ethan 2 goes to the future, right? So this is Ethan 1, and this is Ethan 2. So when Ethan 2 goes to the future, he's able to see Ethan 1 dead in a corridor. All right, he sees that, right? However, things have changed. Now Judge is in the future with him too, but he's there to help him, right? They say that throughout the story that he's there to, basically make sure he's doing his job, or his way of saying it, basically save him from himself. Okay, it's interesting to note that I am making both judges the same. All right, I'm making both judges the same. So this is Judge and this is still Judge, right? So here's where my annoyance comes. Ethan 2 is doing everything that Ethan 1 is doing, the same exact thing. However, Ethan 2, right? Ethan 2, as we see it, understands that no, he can't go back because he's gonna die regardless. So Ethan 2 makes the conscious decision to just stay right here. He is going to stay here. Okay? He is going to stay here. All right? This is my little compass thing just to show that he's going to stay here. And in fact, Judge, because he loves Ethan, because he really does love Ethan, he wants Ethan to survive, he makes the decision at this point, at this cycle, he decides to kill himself. Because he was going to kill Ethan, and he saw that, and he didn't want to be a part of that future where he kills Ethan. So now, Judge is dead. Oh, sorry. Judge is dead. Now we see that in 2067, Ethan disappears. All right, that Ethan disappears from the timeline. So this entire timeline does not exist. I don't want to put an X on it just yet because this Ethan sends the message. So this Ethan sends the message from 2067. I should have done a straight line. But this Ethan sends 2067 a message, which is send Ethan White. We see that happening in the future. Okay. So, like I said, time travel is always going to be finicky. It's always going to be quite annoying. Ethan 2 stays at 2467. When he stays at 2467, he sees the new world. He sees the lush greens. He sees that the world has acclimated. It becomes a utopia. I'm going to just write utopia, right? Don't worry about my spacing. It becomes a utopia. Ethan is able to see the utopia. The thing is that if he sends the message backwards, right? If he sends the message backwards to 2067, he effectively is resetting the cycle. Which means if he is still in 2467, that there should be another Ethan White, that actually Ethan 3 should meet up, right, with Ethan 2. You see what I'm getting at? You see how this muddies it, because the movie doesn't no longer goes back to the past when Ethan 2 is alive and well. Because towards the end of the movie just wraps everything up, saying that in 2067, the Regina got captured. Got arrested. Well, captured, the same thing. Got arrested, and she effectively was sent to jail. And then the world started healing itself because they started using, what's that called? They started using like renewable resources from the earth in order for them to get better and all that. But again, I don't like this. I don't like this ending, because his wife Xanthi needs to have a cure because she has like some lung disease or something from the oxygen. And Ethan 2 actually sends back. All right, a time capsule with a flower in it. He sends a time capsule with a flower in it to his wife. Now, my thing about that part as well is, how is he able to send something back in time that far with a flower? Because I thought that they're only able to go to 2067, but the capsule that she received was a capsule that was super old, like almost 400 years old. right? I mean, it could be the fact that he has a capsule from the future that he found on the floor. He saw a container, he wrapped the container up, he put the flower in. All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for that one. All right. But if you can see this timeline, it's so messy. It's so messy because Ethan 2 made a message to send Ethan from the past, from the present to the future, and to redo the cycle. But then you have Ethan 3, because the cycle resets. It doesn't matter. I don't want to hear that the cycle ends with Ethan 2, because Ethan 2 didn't go back in time. Ethan 2 sent the message to 2067 in order for an Ethan to be sent to the future. So are you telling me that he's sending himself? Is Ethan 2 sending himself back a message in order to go to the future? That wouldn't make sense. You know why? Because in this timeline now in this timeline, Ethan 3 would receive the message, and Ethan 3 would meet up with Ethan 2, because Ethan 2 is now stuck in the future. You see? At least in this one, it was a closed loop. This was the closed loop, right? Now it's an open loop, and now it's just something to think about. Like, I honestly, if they wanted to make a closed loop, they would effectively have to kill off Ethan. But then if they kill off Ethan, the future is doomed. Basically, 2067 goes through whatever they go through, and everybody dies. So yeah, that's just my that is my little I guess review. It's not really a review, it's just something that I wanted to talk about, because it was just interesting to me to find that out. You know, I just wanted to know, like, you know, if honestly, if anybody watching is a scientist or a theoretical physicist or something like that, or even if you know something about time travel, or maybe there's something that I said that made it click for you, can you just explain it to me in the comments? You know, just leave a comment on the video, and because I really want to understand the story. Like, the story is not bad. You know, the story, I'm not harking on it. Like I said, the CGI is actually pretty good. The time machine, or the way they do the time machine CGI of him going through time, that's pretty awesome. I kind of like that. So that being said, I just want to know if even if this is possible, how would you fix it? Because the way I'm looking at it right now, Ethan 2, like I said, even though he's stuck in the future, he would effectively made a new cycle. So then Ethan 2 would have to meet up with Ethan 3. You know what I'm saying? And then he would send Ethan 3. Oh, if that's the case, then he would have to send Ethan 3 back, and Ethan 3 will enjoy it, but Ethan 2 will still be stuck in the future. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. I've been going on for half an hour now, but I just wanted to talk about this. But if you liked what you saw here, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys pretty soon. All right. So don't ever forget, always tip your waiter.